Hello, this is Bill Ergle. I produced and narrated this media. It's defense of my dissertation topic. We're ready to begin, so let the cameras roll.
The methodological approach I took for the evaluation model consisted of identification of the problem of practice, the KMO gap analysis and conceptual framework, the development of qualitative interview questions, the evaluation of data, and the recommendations for any improvements.
I think most people would say, myself included, that college life in many respects was synonymous with the life of the fictional character in the life of Riley, who had a carefree and content existence. As a reminder, look at this generic video clip of college students leisurely walking across campus on their way to and from classes. I would guess most are not too concerned about the complexities of such topics as college finances, except, of course, when it comes to paying tuition or having enough money to snag tickets to the next Taylor Swift concert.
My proposed dissertation topic examines college finances at a deeper level. My topic, budget alignment with organizational goals, an evaluation study of a college, evaluates the college's standing in achieving this alignment. The college, shown here, is one I graduated from 50 years ago and will be identified with the pseudonym College of Goodness.
Initial research into my dissertation topic at Goodness and colleges and universities nationwide produced startling findings. If made public, these findings could potentially turn smiles into looks of concern and confusion on the faces of current-day college students like those now being shown.
The uninformed student of college finance might assume annual funds provided in a college's budget are always targeted to meet the short and long-term goals of the educational institution. My initial research into the subject shows colleges and universities, including some with sizable annual budgets, do not align budgeted funds with organizational goals. They shoot blindly in hopes of hitting the target, when in fact the target or goal has not been defined.
When budgets are established without having a tie to meaningful goals, it is like playing roulette. Once the roulette wheel starts spinning, no one can predict with any certainty into what slot the ball will fall. Visualize putting all your funds next to you at a conference table and trying to determine the best method of distribution to those seated around without having those funds tied to organizational goals. You might as well go to the top of the nearest building and throw the money onto the pavement below and then look to see where it has landed, or metaphorically where the ball has dropped. Your limited chances of winning are about the same. The root cause behind this failure appears to be outdated budgetary systems used essentially for counting, like the ancient abacus tool, and for cost control. These systems are set up for the sole purpose of ensuring funds are spent in compliance with spending rules, not to measure progress in meeting short and long-term goals. There appears to be more concern over not exceeding phone or rent budgets, for example, than knowing whether budgeted funds are being directed towards meeting student learning goals. The benefits of aligning the budget with organizational goals are abundant, especially for a small private college like Goodness. The lack of public funding, combined with narrow support from the base of constituents and alumnus, increases the need for colleges to use the entirety of tuition and fees to cover the operating costs of the institution. When available funding resources are used essentially for the support of fixed operating costs, student outcomes are stagnated. To make funds available for discretionary spending on student outcomes, while at the same time keeping tuition costs down in order to remain competitive, goodness must be diligent in its use of scarce resources.
To gather needed data, qualitative interviews will be held with individuals and in focus groups.
My proposed dissertation effort will evaluate current KMO conceptual framework influences that goodness and make recommendations for improvement. Many questions must be addressed. Under knowledge influences, does College of Goodness budgetary staff have the necessary knowledge, skills, and abilities to properly address the need to align the budget with organizational goals? Does staff have the skill set to develop concise, meaningful goals in a smart format? Do they know how to tie budgetary resources to these goals? Further, can the current Zanzibar budgetary software used by Goodness be programmed to align the budget to goals of the organization? The CFO staff have the skill needed to analyze and make needed software revisions? Motivational influences could also affect Goodness's effort to attain the goal of aligning its budget with organizational goals. Motivation is a key element to success.
One key theory of motivation is expectancy value. Do college budgeting and planning staffs and college leadership have an expectation of value from the work effort? Do they perceive budgeting based on strategic goals is valuable and worthwhile? Moreover, do they have the self-efficacy to believe it is likely they will be successful in accomplishing the goal? Organizational influences have also been recognized as affecting the ability of Goodness to align budgets with organizational goals. Research shows higher education has not been historically open to innovation. Lastly, the shareholder goals for Goodness are as follows. By June 2020, align 20% of the budget to organizational goals. By June 2022, align 100% of the budget to organizational goals. If the KM influences are successfully addressed by Goodness, it is anticipated that these goals will be met. The end.